Danita Stokes, president of HAG.
It's bad enough that Sega Genesis.
Whoops. Yeah, just, accidentally starting the show with the guest already revealed, but thankfully it was like zoomed in on me, so we're good, we're good. Anyway, howdy partners. There's a saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. When I met today's guest, this quote took us on a journey as two little guys, from crossing a desert with ribbon bridges and chirping conversations to enduring the cold as we scaled up a mountain. This little guy created a core memory through our playthrough of Journey, and I'd like to introduce you to a certified little guy, Tomboy. Tomboy, welcome onto the show. Go ahead and let us know how your day was.
What a cute intro. Hello, everybody. It's me,
Is you.
Tomboy. What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? How was your week today? Or
My
how was
week
your week yesterday?
is
How
the
is your
weekend
week
now.
tomorrow?
It's been pretty good. It's been honestly, I don't know about everybody else, but I've just been glad to feel like we're getting out of winter. out of I don't, It's been like cold and rainy, a real cold and rainy winter, so I'm happy for it to be spring and starting new things, you know?
Yeah, over here it's been actually a lot more rainy, like now that winter's going away, which kind of makes me sad because it's always like really, really dry during winter here, so we don't get a lot of snow.
Hey, what's up, Tien? You don't get a lot of snow, you said?
Yeah, we don't get a lot of snow over here
In
because of
Texas?
in Texas of all places.
Uh,
Yo, what up, Tien? Thank you so much for the 16th months at tier 2.
oh shit.
Oh shit, son. But yeah, it do be Texas. It do be the way it is. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I got a couple of questions for you here, Tomboy. The first one is how dare you hate peanut butter, okay? How
We're starting off strong.
I'm starting now. I was gonna leave this for the end, but I just can't. It's just boiling up inside of me.
Yeah, I've always hated peanut butter. There's a close up.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. You're in the hot seat
Oh,
now.
oh no. Um, no, but I don't know. I never liked the smell of it, the taste of it, and it's just one of those things. It's funny, like literally my friends know all the things I do eat more than what I don't eat because I'm so picky with food. And I'll try anything, but it's just, I don't know, it's always been my taste buds.
What do we have to do in order to get you and peanut butter to make up?
Oh no. I don't know if that's in the I don't know if that's in the future. I like jelly, so I like peanut butter's other half. Um, I don't know. My dogs, even, it's funny. Most of my dogs like peanut butter, but my first dog, Ellie, does not. So she's same as me. She's like, nope.
Okay, so both you and your dog are canceled. Understood.
Great.
You heard it here first. We're canceling Tomboy and Ellie. They're both getting canceled like season 2 of The Last of Us on HBO.
No, it's not canceled. What do you mean? Wait.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I April Fools you twice.
Oh shit. Got
Oh
me.
shit, son.
Got me so hard.
No, but that actually brings me to the first actual question. So The Last of Us show just ended like maybe 2, 3 weeks ago.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
and I know you're a big fan of The Last of Us. I mean, you did name your
Huge.
dog Ellie.
Yep.
So it's up to you if you want to avoid spoilers. I already finished watching it with my best friend. So it's up to you. But what was
I
your
mean, this can be
experience?
our warning now
Oh yeah,
that
okay.
we're gonna spoil.
Go ahead and hit me with one of your
Faces.
yeah, go ahead and hit me with a spoiler alert here.
Oh wait. Oh god, wait. Okay, this is the spoiler face. When you see this face again, spoilers are done.
There's
Uh, okay.
All right, so my question is, having played it, the game, what's your experience with watching the show compared to the expectations that you had, going into
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone kind of knew that, like, in general, video game franchises don't have the best reputation for being represented in other forms of media, like movies, shows, etc. But I kind of had the mindset of like, well, it's going to be its own separate thing, and hopefully I can enjoy it separate from the game. And I also had a lot of faith in Naughty Dog and Neil as the director. So going in, I was like excited. But also like Bella Ramsey, as far as the casting, I didn't really see her as Ellie as first. I had seen her briefly in Game of Thrones, but I hadn't seen the extent of her performance in that, which is like amazing. And she's so talented, and so is Pedro Pascal. So I think they smashed it. Like I think like it stands alone as a show, and it's just, I mean, pretty much everyone that's a fan of the game is a fan of the show, and just like so excited about season 2. So I loved it.
Based.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of having seen I'm assuming you played both of the games, right? You've played both part 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay, so try to keep it spoiler free because I haven't played part 2, but
Okay.
um so having played the first and second game and having seen the entirety of the first season, do you feel like they did enough to set up for the second season? Because
Mm.
so apart from the jerks that were hating on part 2 for like no basic reason,
Because of
um,
homophobia
yeah,
and
and transphobia pretty much.
yeah.
So the genuine criticisms that I did hear were more about like the pacing.
Mm.
I heard that it would have worked better if maybe like I said, I don't know too much because I try to stay away from the spoilers, but I still
Yeah.
wanted to hear what was going on with the game. They said I think
Um,
Abby's parts should have come first. Um, some of
I
them. How do you feel like the show set it up for the next part?
I mean the show ended exactly where the first game ends, and there was kind of like, even when the game ended and we were waiting for part 2, there was like an uncertainty of where it was going to start and what story was going to be told, and that's like kind of where they've left it. So um but as far as the pacing in general, without spoilers, I like really admire the second game as far as like story structure and how they set it up between the characters, like Ellie and Abby. Um, I'm really looking forward to that. Um, did I answer your question? What is-
No,
no.
nah, yeah.
Uh,
No, yeah, that's. I mean, it was a little bit of a restricted kind of type of answer thing because, again, keeping it spoiler free. But I was just
yeah.
hoping to
I
see,
mean,
like, based on the criticisms that I heard, that may make
right.
sense. If
I mean,
you
who
felt that it
knows?
was.
I mean, they might take that into account and kind of change how they set up the show, because I think it is, the second one is more catered to like the video game experience, because you're playing as both characters, and they really like play that up because they want you to see the story from both perspectives.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll see how they do that in the show. I'm excited.
Nice. So moving on to the next questions here. So you are a visual effects artist.
Mhm.
Like pretty much doing some work behind the scenes on, I'm assuming, some stuff that we've watched. What are some of the current trends in your line of work, and how much personal inspiration are you allowed to draw from?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Yeah. um, so it's interesting because it really varies from project to project. Because I've been on a lot of stop motion animation productions, but I've also been on live action stuff. Like I was working at Tyler Perry for a bit,
Mm,
and that was not creative at all because a lot of it was just cleanup work as far as like um, I don't know, like removing crew reflections in screens and comping in, I mean, green screen or stuff like that. So, in that sense, you're just kind of like, there's a saying like the best visual effects are the ones you don't notice. So, like, it's
mm,
not super creative when it comes to that because you're just trying to recreate an image or put pieces together. But on my current project, I actually get to do work on 3D animation. So that there's a lot more like kind of setting up like color and like lighting between characters, and there's a lot more creative freedom in that. So I've really enjoyed it.
hell yeah. Is there like
Yeah.
anything, are you like bound by an NDA, or is there any like past
No, it's announced.
projects
Yeah, the
that
current project I'm on is announced. Like it has a Wikipedia page, so I can say that it's a new SpongeBob movie. It's I think it's called like Rescuing Bikini Bottom or something like that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on now.
What about some of your past works? What can we like go in and watch and be like, Tomboy deleted that guy from existence?
So the second show I was on was a Adult Swim stop motion show called The Shivering Truth,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked on season 2 of that show, and I did a lot of
Don't
canceling
movie
people.
canceling people?
Yeah, I just read that. Um, so yeah, I worked on, and that was pretty artistic because I got to like put a lot of pieces together for that show as well. What else? What else? Yeah, and other stuff. I worked at another studio where I did do more like live action comp, but it was literally I would just get thrown random shots from random shows like Grace and Frankie, and then there's like an Amazon Prime show with Anne Hathaway and a bunch of people. So it's kind of a blur when I was at that studio. Uh, it's interesting. Post production is so fast paced. Um, yeah, it's a wild ride sometimes, and that's actually what has brought me to my most recent passion, which is like kind of from this project. I've got more interested in 3D animation, and it's kind of like reignited my love for animation. So I'm going to try to reteach myself lighting and become a lighting comp artist for 3D animation. So that's the new horizon.
Nice. So which kind of program do you use? I know Mona uses like cinema. Is it
3D
4D or
or
something like that?
yeah. So for compositing, the industry standard is Nuke, um, which is the Foundry like group of programs.
Mm-hmm.
After Effects is also used, but which is Adobe, but it's more like layer based, and it's used, I would say, at a smaller capacity or for like motion graphics more often than not. So yeah, primarily Nuke, and then for 3D, Maya is industry standard. Actually, at our studio for lighting in VFX, they use Katana, which is from the Foundry. So it's like the same people that made Nuke. But yeah.
Why they gotta sound so dangerous though? You got Nuke and Katana. Those are some deadly tools you got there.
Yeah, for real. Maybe that's the intention.
I wouldn't mess with you, tomboy. You gonna nuke me.
Oh, yeah, I know how to wield a katana.
Um, so cool, man. Like that's really interesting. I feel like we got like a little peek behind the curtain. But if there are anything, if there is anything, sorry,
You're good.
that like you have left behind, like as like a genuine like mark that you left on one of the projects that you've worked on.
Mm.
What would you think that would be? Is there like, have you ever left a little Easter egg that just be like, yo, look at this, it's me?
So here's a fun story. I worked on Wendell and Wild, which was Henry Selick's stop motion film that went to Netflix, and unfortunately, it was kind of set up where our internal comp team was pretty small. So some of the work ended up going to outside vendors, kind of out of our control, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's intentional. It's just like, I don't know, the industry, as they say. But anyways, I got to work closely with production and actually be in the studio, which was really cool. And we definitely put Easter eggs in that show of there was like a puppet that was like modeled after one of my friends. The tombstones in the graveyard had like crew members' names on them. Sometimes to the like draw inspiration, stuff like that, and kind of like put Easter eggs in that way. So Henry Selick is known for Nightmare Before Christmas, and like the antenna on the car has a little Jack Skellington face. So like little things like that get thrown in all the time, which is fun. Yeah, so I worked closely with stage a lot on that show. I didn't get to do as much art on my first project for Moon and Me, which was a kids show. I got to do matte painting, so I got to create a lot of the backgrounds, which I really enjoyed and was more artistic. So I'm really proud of that show in particular.
What was the name of the show again?
Moon and Me. So it's like a puppet show. It's from the same guy who created the Teletubbies.
Oh God, no!
So it didn't, I don't know if it's like airing in the US. It mostly aired, I think, in the UK. And it's like a preschool show. So it's like can't really tell my friends to go watch that one, but I am proud of the art that I put
Oh,
into it.
I'm gonna go in and watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be looking out. I'm gonna keep an eagle eye out for tomboy centric stuff. So outside of art, what are some of your other interests?
Rock climbing is a big one. I go multiple times a week with my girlfriend climbing in the gyms here.
Mm-hmm.
Skateboarding. I like to be active when the weather's nice. I like swimming a lot. I grew up swimming. My animals is probably a hobby because I have so many. I have 2 dogs, and then my girlfriend has 2 dogs and a cat, and we got a kitten recently, so we have a full house.
Y'all are like literally pet parents at this point. You got
Oh,
2
yeah.
cats, 4 dogs,
Yep.
and 1 Hosway, miles and miles away.
Oh, no.
Oh no. So with rock climbing, how did you get introduced into that hobby? Like, you just wanted you're just like, I'm gonna climb that shit over there.
I was always like, actually, yeah, I was always climbing trees as a kid. But my brother was in Boy Scouts, and I think his troop like did a climbing thing, and I like just kind of tagged along, um, and got interested in it that way. And then once I was like living on my own, I found a rock gym and started going with friends, and it's a great active activity. It's a great activity to, like, stay active and, like, also be social and hang out with friends. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I have another friend who I think they mentioned that they also do rock climbing. They're in Germany, so
Nice.
yeah, but it definitely, I've had a little bit of interest, but I got like this beer belly, even though I don't drink, that I feel like would really weigh me down. What would be some like maybe like I don't want to say prerequisites because that's like too
Mm.
that's too like pinky up, twist the mustache for me. But like, what are some things that somebody who would be like getting into it would have to do in order to maybe find a little bit more enjoyment in it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bouldering, so there's different types of climbing. Bouldering is the type of climbing you see where it's very short, it's shorter routes and you don't climb with a harness or a rope, so you're not attached to anything. And it's kind of like problem solving, it's shorter routes. And it really starts at like beginner level. I feel like bouldering is very accessible for anyone who wants to try climbing. And I've had friends who've like never done it and they just come in and you just like start trying it honestly like and if you are intimidated by like the physical factor of it like I don't, like maybe go to a gym outside of climbing but like honestly I don't go to the gym like rock climbing is my gym and I stay fit by just climbing more often than working out or anything so I would say like go with people you're comfortable with and just try it, you know?
Okay, that's actually a pretty good response. Um, so you said you started like back when your brother was in the Boy Scouts. Now, is this an
Yeah.
older brother or a younger brother?
Neither.
Twins.
Yeah.
Twins. Oh,
Yeah. Technically,
bombshells
I'm
dropped here.
older. Yeah. I have a twin brother named Ben.
And technically you're older.
Yeah, technically.
You're just like fighting it out to see who was gonna be born first.
Yep, I pushed him out of the way.
Nice. That classic tomboy.
Yeah, he came out malnourished, so I think I won that battle.
Oh shit, son. So, as a beginner, for from your experience, like, what are some unknown unknowns that you didn't know until you finally knew that you didn't know because the unknowns were unknown in an unknowable manner?
In life, in general?
No, 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 in rock climbing, but
Oh, okay,
no,
okay, okay,
now I
climbing.
want to hear about life. Now I'm kind of curious about what you got to say.
I was like, what a question. Let me start with rock climbing. So like things that I didn't know when I started that I enjoy now about it. Is that kind of
Yeah.
um I mean the social part of it is really fun. I think it's just like being able to challenge yourself and do things that you didn't think you could do and so there's like a rating system in climbing. So like it starts at like 0, V0 and it goes up to like V10 whatever past that. Um and it's just fun to try to progress like you start climbing like let's say zeros and ones and then if you keep at it like oh now I climb my first 3 and like it was in this style and I really like and there's different types of walls and like I love slab climbing which is more balancy and there's so many like components to it that just like make it a lot of fun.
Okay, now life.
Oh gosh. What now life go.
Go.
Oh man.
Nah, it's okay.
Honestly, no.
No, now I want to hear it.
I was just I've been reflecting a lot recently on I mean everyone wants to be happy, right? And so
Yeah,
like my recently my career has been affecting my happiness a lot and I mean obviously you spend a lot of your time doing the job that you do. Um and I'm just like I'm just like it's scary to like leave a job and try something new, but I'm just like happy that I'm in a position where I can, do that and I'm supported and I can like take the risk and I can, try to change stuff for me for the better. And that's what it's all about.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yee yee. All right. So we've covered some of your interests as well, and there's one that you didn't mention that I know that you're probably gonna be a little hype about me bringing
Oh
up.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah. So, um, I myself don't consider myself a speedrunner because when I watch you speedrun, I'm like, okay, now that's skill over there.
Oh.
What I got going on over here is like a bunch of four-leaf clovers in my pocket, a rabbit's foot around my neck. You know, it's all luck. But I think I've asked this before, but I'm like I got smooth brain, so I tend to forget. But like, when did you first start speedrunning Hollow Knight?
Yeah. Also, thank you for the compliment, but also you are a great speedrunner, and I think like it's interesting to see the difference between games of like just how runs go and how things are uh I don't know, just like a speed run can be wildly different from game to game. And I'm very glad that I started with Hollow Knight because it seems like it was pretty approachable for me. I started, let's see. It was after I started streaming. So I just like and I started watching, I think, more speedrunning content and that kind of piqued my interest. Really before Hollow Knight, I didn't really watch much gaming content and definitely not like speedrunning content. Um, so I would say just like Twitch and getting into the community and kind of seeing what other people were streaming got me interested in it. And I love a challenge and I like, I like sports. I like timing myself and it just seemed like a fun thing to stream and a fun challenge like for myself more than anything. So yeah, I got into it that way.
Nice. So I know from like my experience with speedrunning, sometimes like when I watch back like a boss fight that I did, it
Mm.
looks super easy. But in the moment that I was playing it, it was just like the most
Fighting for your life.
yeah, it's just like the most frustrating thing ever.
Yeah.
Um, is there like a boss in Hollow Knight for you that plays significantly harder than maybe something that the viewers would think?
That's a good question. I think like in Hollow Knight specifically, Watcher Knights are known as being like one of the tough bosses, and I think that was definitely very true for me. When I started the speedrun, I could not beat the Watcher Knights in the format of the speedrun, which is like base level health, base weapon, try not to die. uh so yeah, that was like a super big challenge at first and I was streaming it and like making it's kind of the thing of like you just need that to do it over and over again and then it's like stuff clicks of like technique and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that fight and then the last fight, THK, is also, I think. Also, though, I'm just like going through it in my head.
Hmm.
Umu, the jellyfish, gave me a lot of trouble at first as well. And like, I still have trouble. I've definitely gotten better watching other people fight and just trying to learn that way. Um, yeah, I'm gonna stick with Umu as my final answer. That jellyfish.
That's the one where like there's like another little bug in there helping you out, right?
Yes, Quirrell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think he showed up for my fight with him.
What? He just didn't show up.
He's like late. He's just in traffic. So I know you're very excited about Silk Song coming out, the long-awaited
Yeah.
sequel for Hollow Knight.
Heck yeah.
Um, do you think that you'll end up speedrunning that as well, or will it just
Mm.
depend on whether you
Yeah.
enjoy the game as much as you did the original?
I mean, I might be naive, but I have there's very little doubt in my mind that I am not going to enjoy Silk Song. Like Hornet is my favorite character, first of all. Um and I just have so much faith in Team Cherry as like a studio that it's going to be awesome. But regardless about the speedrun, I'm really interested in like being a part if it is a game that I want to like I love and I am interested in speedrunning. I think it's going to be a wildly different experience like starting to try to speedrun it because it's going to be so new and like Hollow Knight has been out for like years and years now, and when I joined that speedrunning community, there's always dog's barking.
Dogs.
There's already like a setup route, and there's so many techniques that people perfected over, like new things coming out in the community. And I think like running Silksong is going to be so exciting at first because it's just going to be like a mess of people figuring out stuff and like skips and like routes, and I think it's going to be really exciting and fun. So yeah, I'm interested in the speed run.
Yeah, I feel like every time a new game comes out in a really like popular franchise, or even just a game with a like a very dedicated like speedrunning community, it
Yeah.
usually turns into the Wild West as soon as like it's like the game released, people play it once and then they start trying to like break it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like in general, I mean, I do the no major glitches category of Hollow Knight, and that's like the most popular. So there's not necessarily like glitches where people are breaking out of bounds or doing crazy stuff, but there are like skips where people are exploiting areas in the game where you're not supposed to be able to get to them. But if you do like a certain jump a certain way, you can like kind of get around it and then try to beat the game in a different way. So I think seeing that stuff come through is going to be super interesting in Silksong.
Is there any like specific like skip that you like used when you speedrun, or are you just like I guess a glitchless, skipless
Yeah, it's
speedrunner?
I mean I use the common skips in no major glitches. So there's shade skip where you kill yourself and you use your shade to get up past the blue lake. There's the acid skips. I do one of them where you grab onto a ledge and you're almost in the acid and you get across. And so it's just like things with like small margin of error, but you're still able to do them. So yeah, I use the common ones in the ones that aren't too hard in the speed run.
Okay. Now, is there like another game that you have maybe considered speedrunning? Like I
Mm.
think you really ended up liking Dark Souls. I don't know
Ooh.
if you would consider speedrunning that. Um
Yeah.
from
Oh, go ahead.
no
Sorry.
no no no. Go ahead. I got the camera on you. You can't back out now.
uh, yeah, totally. It's interesting. I'm like also interested in like the hitless community behind Dark Souls. Not, I don't know if I could see myself doing it. I actually started trying hitless Hollow Knight, and that was really fun. But it is very challenging.
hmm
Speedrunning, the run, I don't know what's the like approximate time for the Dark Souls run. I feel like it's definitely longer than Hollow Knight, but
I'm looking it up.
oh, okay. Because I've seen some friends run it, and I think you have to put a lot of time into it, but it seems like a fun run.
So the glitchless record is 52 minutes and
Okay.
46 seconds in real time.
Yeah.
In game time, it's counted as 49:25, and this is on PC remastered.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Hollow Knight is like world record is like 32 now, so not too far off.
Yeah, I gotta say, the longer the speedrun is, um, it's not just because it's longer. It's the actual issue with a longer speedrun is that it's more room to make mistakes, and we're only human.
Yeah.
Um,
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Like it adds on the pressure, like with everything you have to do. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually, when I first started running Hollow Knight, I was like, I want to do 112 because I want to complete everything, and that's the coolest speed run. And then I started learning it, and I was like, I do not want to do this.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
there was an accidental speedrun that I did in Bloodborne. Um, I started the stream and it was one of my New Game Plus characters.
mhm.
Um, and I was just playing it. I think it was like the middle of the night. Like literally, like everybody was asleep. And I think the only person in chat was like DC. And so there I am, like just playing the game, just like minding my own business. And the next thing I know, I'm like already like at the final boss.
Huh.
And I realized like, okay, how long have I been streaming? So I pull up my phone because I was streaming from the PS4. I pull up my phone and it's like been like an hour and like 15 minutes, I think. And then
Sheesh.
I'm like, did I die? So I go back and like kind of like scrubbing through like the video and I'm like, no, I didn't die. And I'm just
Heck
like
yeah.
wasting time just like sitting there looking at what I've done while the final boss is like right there and I'm just like, okay, my luck's not gonna carry me the rest of the way. I'm just gonna surrender to the final boss and
Oh
get
no.
the cheap ending. So
That's
literally
funny.
like just like for no reason, I was just like, okay, accidental speed run. This is going on YouTube.
That's fun. Yeah. I love Bloodborne of what I've played. I gotta finish.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good game. I'm pretty sure if it came out on PC, like the original, and then they remastered it, and then the remaster came out on PC, I would buy it like 9 different times. Um,
You get a
there's
copy. You get a copy.
yeah,
Just like
I'd be the Oprah of Bloodborne for sure.
yeah. I
Um,
could see that.
there's recently a game. I don't know if do you have a PS5 in your household?
Nope. Just the
Oh,
4.
so I recently got Returnal on PC.
Oh, so I've been watching a stream Secret Sleepover Society, a group of or a couple that streams play that game.
Yeah, so that game has really been scratching the Bloodborne itch that I've had for a little while. Like,
Heck yeah.
so like Bloodborne, I genuinely thought that I could play it forever because there's a feature called the Chalice Dungeons,
Mhm.
which is optional content, but pretty much it's just like randomly generated dungeons, and it's just like extremely hard bosses all the way through.
Yeah, so you can just
Um,
keep playing different versions.
yeah, and it came out eventually like data miners figured out that there actually is a limit to the dungeons and that many of them within that limit are duplicates.
Hmm.
So the when I finally did finish the dungeons, like literally like I got the 100% in like trophy for finishing like everything in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I kind of lost it. I was like, man. I was like, no, please don't let the spark
I don't
die.
want it to be over.
And yeah, like I picked up Returnal recently, and it's not necessarily like Bloodborne in the sense that it's like a Souls-like. It's more like what they call like a roguelike or something like that.
Yeah, technically it's a roguelike, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the weird atmosphere. And then the layout of the game feels very much like the Chalice Dungeons, where it's just
Mhm.
procedurally generated. And it was just like, I don't know, like I took a nap. I told you I took a nap for like an hour, and I was like dreaming about Returnal. I was like, bro, please stop.
Sweet, that's cool. I'll have to check it out.
Do it now.
No.
Do it now. I demand. All right. So, yeah, I just went on a big Returnal rant, and I kind of forgot
No,
my
it's all
next
good.
question.
I totally understand when you find a new game that, you know, is special and you like want to tell everyone about it.
No. No, genuinely, I forgot my next question. Help. Oh, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to ask you a question. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask ChatGPT. I'm just gonna ask Bing, because it's literally the same thing. All right. So here we are with new Bing, right? I'm gonna be like, what are some good interview questions?
It's gonna say, I wonder if it's gonna be like job interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
If it is, you're gonna have to answer. That's the that's
Them
the rules.
the rules.
All right, so it's finally responding. All right, Tomboy. Why do you want to work for this company?
Does it really say that?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Oh man. You know why I wanna be here in this interview? That's how I'm rephrasing it. We haven't like reconnected as friends for a while, and I was super excited when you reached out, and I'm very happy for you that you're doing this new kind of stream, and it's really fun, and I think your setup is super cute and you worked hard on it, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's really
I
yeah.
struggle to take in the compliments, but yeah, I know I've been a little bit distant from like a lot of places.
No, same. Me too. It happens.
Mostly it's been that you know, the brain does the big sag, and then I just kind of need to like back
Yep.
out, and then I just hop back in as much as I can. But yeah, it's really nice. I was really like nervous about like hitting you up because I was like, yeah, it's been a little while. And
Yeah.
also because I think I sent out the form link to sign up for the show like 80 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was actually exactly 80 years.
Yeah, precisely on the
Yeah.
dot. But yeah, it's I was like a little nervous that like some of the people that had signed up like in the beginning were gonna be a little hesitant, but it
Nah.
actually worked out pretty well. I the person that was supposed to be coming on last week, well, not last week, I think 2 weeks ago, but then I
Mhm.
overslept. Um, I think they did get a little upset that I slept. That's kind of why I was like, I'm only gonna sleep 1 hour. Um, but yeah, so I finally wanted to just kind of like do it, you know, like the show.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's like with any art. I feel like you just have to start, and the sooner you do, the faster you can get better at it and do new things and find out like what you're really passionate about.
what are you passionate about right now, Tomboy?
Right now it's 3D animation and starting this new path of learning lighting and uh trying to put myself out there as a lighting comp artist for CG animation, which I've never done before, but I'm real excited about.
How's the lighting in here?
It's great.
Ah,
10 out of
nice.
10. There might be a few different lighting sources happening, but it's fine. I'll forgive you.
Thank you, thank you. Nah, but yeah, I think it'd be really cool to like maybe like kind of put our joint forces, dude. Like what do they do in Dragon Ball Z when they do this little cute little
Fusion.
dance? Yeah,
Yeah.
just like fusion. Maybe one day we can host a game show together.
Yeah, collaborate. I'm so down.
Collaboration.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm kind of like drawing blanks right now.
Oh, you're good.
What's the background in your picture?
It's from Steven Universe, one of my favorite animated shows.
Why?
Because mostly for the characters in the story. I Rebecca Sugar is the creator of Steven Universe, and she used to work on at Cartoon Network. As this animator, or I think she did storyboards, and she wrote some of the songs, and then she created her own show, Steven Universe, and it's beautiful, and it inspires me all the time as an artist.
I think, do you know Erin from Whimsical Sprites?
I don't think so.
She's another part of a couple streamer.
Hmm.
And she mentioned it a few days ago. That I think she said like the ending of season one was like very impactful. And I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious. Do you think a little guy like me could handle Steven Universe? Would my feelings get hurt halfway through?
No, I think you'd love it. I mean, um, it's like one of those shows that is technically a kids show. I mean, not like young kids, but it's like uh it's a cartoon and it's like goofy, but also the deeper you get into it and the more you know the characters, like the harder the stories hit. And yeah, there's just really a lot of fun. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's it's also one of those shows that creates like a universe, like no pun intended, but like um
That would be like a Steven Universe?
uh because like the gems are like these beings from space basically that are just like they're not human, but they're on Earth,
Hmm.
interacting with humans and affecting humans, and so you get to hear more of their story. And yeah, I just love it. I love it.
How many seasons is that show?
I think there was 5, and then the movie, and then there's Steven Universe Future, which is what happens after the movie for like a season, and then they stopped it. So it's complete.
So on a scale of like when you say it's like a kids show, on a scale of like maybe like Adventure Time to
Mhm.
Avatar, where do you
Mhm.
think that falls like closer to?
I feel like it's very similar to Adventure Time as far as like storytelling and how when you watch like the first episodes of Adventure Time, it's very like goofy and it's like, haha, Finn and Jake going on silly adventures. And then it's like,
All of a
you know,
sudden it just hits
yeah,
you.
yeah, a few seasons later, you're like crying over this character. Like, yeah, so it's similar to that in like um, storytelling. And yeah,
Okay, I'm not gonna guarantee that I'll watch it, but it's definitely like it's racking up points from like people around
yeah,
me that have mentioned that it's like a pretty good show. So
yeah. What
perhaps.
do
Mhm.
you have any like shows that inspire your art?
I mean, I don't do too much art necessarily, but
I mean,
I
this is art.
okay then the Eric Andre show.
There you go. That's cool.
Nah, there shows that I like. It's like kind of rare. Like I don't really watch too much TV. I'm usually like just chilling watching like horror movies and stuff.
Mhm.
But TV shows that I've recently been obsessed with, and by recently I mean like in general, like I don't know, I've lived what 26 years of my life, and in the past like 2 to 3 years I've been like obsessed with like Drag Race.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's pretty much like where I'm at.
So I'm watching a season 13, I think, right now. Is that 14? Yeah,
14.
14. We're watching. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
We just like we tried to start with the earlier seasons, but it's like when you watch any reality show or like stuff from like another era of like, it's just sometimes hard to watch or relate to people as much as like stuff now. And they've like improved the show, I think. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
but
show's definitely like you can tell that the production has definitely gone up.
yeah, yeah.
I would always suggest starting with like maybe season 5, and it's
Yeah.
definitely not because I'm biased because my favorite drag queen of all time is on there or anything like that. No, it's just you know. But yeah, if I were to recommend one of the older seasons, that isn't season 5, uh, it would be season 6.
Yeah. Cool.
Um, so like one of the things that really does draw me into Drag Race is actually quite the opposite of what you said. Is that regardless of a lot of the eras, I really like those moments where like the queens kind of have like a heart to heart, like maybe it was like after a fight or
Mhm.
something like that, or some big
Yeah.
argument happened in the workroom, and they're like, yeah, well, what you said hurt me, and this is why, and then they gave you kind of like their backstory, and then I'm just like, bro, same, like
Yeah.
I
Then you're
also
like,
had a horrible childhood.
yeah, the deeper it gets into the season, you're like, I love all of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few seasons where I straight up couldn't stand one of the
Yeah.
queens.
Yeah.
Um,
In the current season, I think my least favorite in season 14 is Daya. You know, Daya, I think Diabetes is
Diabetes?
that? Yeah, that's her full name. Yeah. Not my
Why?
favorite. Not my favorite. I just think she's mean.
I mean,
I know she's like super competitive, but it just like the way she speaks to people like kind of rubs me the wrong way a lot of the time.
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I really like Lady Camden.
Lady Cam. I'm trying to remember the queens from season 14.
Yeah, Lady Camden is the she's like from the UK and she lives in San Francisco, I think, but she's got a British accent.
Am I thinking about the same person?
I don't know. It's like short reddish hair. Is a dancer.
My brain.
No,
Bro, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I cannot remember the queens.
that's all good.
I'm gonna have to. Okay, so I got it pulled up here. Lady Camden.
Lady Camden. But yeah, it's cool to see how they change over the season and they gain confidence and oh, Bianca Del Rio. Yes,
Dude,
I agree.
Bianca Del Rio is like 0.1%, like 0.0000001% below Jinx Monsoon as like my favorite drag queen. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil
Nice.
it because it's been like 5 million years anyway, and the dinosaurs went extinct like shortly after this season aired. Um, so in the season where Bianca Del Rio got introduced, um, she was like really mean, and I remember telling Mona, I was like a little kid. I was like, I don't like her. I was like, I
You
I
say
really
mean
don't like her.
things.
Yeah, she was like really mean. But then
Yeah.
little by little, as the season went on, like same thing happened. Like yeah, they open up and stuff, but it was more through action. Like it wasn't like
Mm.
like Bianca was just like like during the little side interview things that they do. It was like they would be showing them in the workroom, and then like Bianca would do something that was like out of character for what I expected from them.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
I just started noticing like, man, maybe Bianca isn't that bad. And then just by the end of that season, I was just like all in. I was like, I'm throwing in like all my millions and billions of pennies. I was like, this person's gonna be the winner of Drag Race. I was like, there is no way in hell. Like we're talking about like a huge redemption arc in like my heart. I was like, this this
Aw.
this queen be queening like for realsies.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm actually really happy that you started watching it because here apart from watching it with Mona, like I tried asking my sister to watch it, and she doesn't really like. She's not really into it. But I don't really have too many people to talk about Drag Race with. Like
Yeah.
Like, I know it's weird, like, as like a just a dude to be like this invested into Drag Race, but when I tell you that I genuinely love like what the
Yeah.
show does, like I think Mona's like really into it, like for the fashion and like the creativity and the art, and I'm just in
Hmm.
it for like the people.
Aw, yeah.
I'm just like all in there, and of course like a little bit of simping here and there, but straight up like it is an amazing show and I
Yeah,
love it.
I agree. Yeah, the vulnerability is like something you don't really see on a lot of other reality TV shows, in the way that like Rue and the judges like really speak to the contestants and like try to help them get better, just like in their personal lives, and it's gonna affect their art and their performance. It's great to see.
Yeah, there's a saying I think in Drag Race where it's like no one's a loser in Drag Race because by just being on the show, you get like a lot of exposure and a lot of experience, especially for like the baby queens that will come on and
Yep.
then they'll like end up leaving like 4 episodes in because they're still figuring themselves out. Like they were really good enough to come on the show, but to
Yeah.
to be like the queen of all queens for that year.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level.
Yeah,
Like,
like
yeah.
it's something that Mona has to keep reminding me of too, because I get sometimes really invested into like one of the like baby queens, and I'll be like, no, they were supposed to win. um, but yeah, it's like it is about like I think what do they call it, the drag superstar or something like that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm like sleepy, but yeah, it's like to get that title and I can't decide. Whoever decides, but you
Yeah.
really have to like earn it, and it's a
Oh
really
yeah.
competitive like field. Um, it seems like more and more people are like becoming open to it within like the communities and stuff, and so they're getting a little bit more support and you see them, but I am like all for it, dude. Like I never expected, like if I were to talk to like 15-year-old me, right, little edgy boy just being a little piece of shit for no reason, I would rub it in his face that one day he was gonna fall in love with like the world of drag and just in general like find some pride in being able to relate to people so different, but
Yeah.
seeing like how actually similar we are. Like I
Mhm.
don't know. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so brave. Tell me I'm just kidding. But yeah, I really do love drag race.
Yeah. I'm happy you love it so much.
Okay, I shut up now for a little bit.
No, you're
I'm
good.
gonna
You're
keep
good.
rambling about it. I'm gonna be like, and then in season 5.
And this queen and this queen.
Yeah. So,
Ooh,
you like cereal?
cereal. I used to eat more cereal. I don't as much anymore, but my go-to is Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay, that's the show. I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm more of a what is it? Honey bunches of oats. I like the
Mm,
crunchy like oat stuff in there.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good choice.
yeah. um, so I just wanted to know, like, has this ever happened to you? Like, you're chilling with Shoddy at the function, and then suddenly Alpha Chad and his beta friends come around, and they start reciting the FitnessGram Pacer Test instructions as follows. The FitnessGram Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster with each minute after you hear this signal. Beep. A single lap should be completed in each time you hear this sound. Ding. Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get ready, start. And so you have to like line up at the start and prove to Shoddy that you're the fastest person in the class. Has this ever happened to you? If so, you could be eligible for compensation. Please call the attorneys at Hosway and Hosway, whether it's either Hosway or the highway. So has that ever happened to you?
Yes, I will be calling the attorneys.
I
Call
really,
the police.
I really like saying like shoddy at the when you was shoddy
Yeah,
at the function.
it's good. I love that type of humor. Yeah. Brad. Brad is the worst. There's some Brads rock climbing too. It's called like there's a term called beta spraying. So like beta is the way that you climb a route.
Mhm.
So like you'd be like, oh, first you put your hand this way and then you grab it this and then do that. And that's like a good way to climb it. And beta spraying is when like Brads usually come up to you, whether or not they are climbing the route and they tell you how to climb it. Or sometimes people just jump up on your route when you're trying to climb something and that kind of stuff. So me and Shorty, Shoddy. I haven't said Shorty in a long time. Jesus, deal with that sometimes.
Be like shorty want a thug. Bottles in the club.
God,
Coconut has a question.
what's up?
As someone that streams, what has been a big perspective change you realized you needed to make to continue to be a streamer, whether it's for a career or fun?
Yeah, that's a great question. I did not expect. I think everyone has like an idea of like what streaming is like when you like go into streaming. And I actually have been taking a break recently from streaming. Mostly because of like I don't I would say I had like a perspective change and just kind of like I don't know, it's like very taxing, emotionally taxing, like uh kind of space. And I don't know. I like view it a lot of the time as like a form of art and a cool way to like try new things and like you can be so creative, especially with like VTubers. Like I don't use my VTuber model as much now on stream, but like or like overlays or emotes or like that kind of stuff. So I think like you can find your own passion and like different reasons for streaming that can kind of inspire you. And instead of just like, well, I'm streaming, because I said I would on Wednesday, it's like, well, maybe I want to try out, like drawing some new emotes or like having this come up on screen or try speedrunning, even though I've never speedrun before. So like I think like trying new things is a big part of it and finding passions within those things, if that makes sense.
Did you speedrun before streaming, or was that something that you
No.
tried out like while streaming?
Yeah, it was after I started streaming. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really watch that kind of content before, starting to watch Twitch and stuff. So
Do you think
yeah.
like becoming a speedrunner has like changed your brain chemistry in any way? I certainly feel like it has. Like at work, I'm always like trying to find the most optimal route to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, totally. I think also it made me admire like people who do crazy categories and like um challenge runs a lot more. Like the Dark Souls community is like super known for that. And I've made a lot of friends who um do run different categories in those games. And it's a whole nother level.
What's the name of the category that you run?
For Hollow Knight, it's no major glitches. Any percent.
Mm-hmm.
So any percent just meaning completing the game. You don't have to complete it 100%. You can do it in any percent as long as you finish it.
Yeah, so like it's like not necessarily like all bosses. It's just all
Right.
mandatory bosses to.
It's just getting to the end credits.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Well, do we have any more questions in chat?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Coconut? You got any more questions that I can leech off of?
Just stop. Oh man.
Oh, I need a cough. Give me 1 second. Tomboy,
Yeah, no
take
worries.
over.
Oh, you get to play stress free. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about. I think I mean I considered doing streaming as like a full-time thing, and like I think that's a cool motivation to like, you know, be really serious about like a schedule and posting videos and that kind of thing. But also just doing it for fun is a lot less stress. And maybe you can be more creative because you're not worried about like the end goal. Like whatever works for you.
Tomboy, guess what?
What?
I remembered my questions.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I had a few of these like written down, but I like completely forgot to even send them like as I was like telling you kind of like the topics I was gonna cover.
Yeah.
So this is, you might be a little happy about this one. Your tattoos. It was supposed to
Ooh.
be like an add-on question for the you know, like the artist questions.
Mm-hmm.
So like as an artist, do you feel like that gives you like a different perspective on like the works that you get done onto your body? And if so, which one of your tattoos, not necessarily is your favorite, but do you have like a little bit more of like an appreciation for?
Yeah, totally. I would say because I'm an artist, I am more of a snob when it comes to tattoos. Like I yeah, I find artists on Instagram and doesn't matter where they are, out of the country, whatever. Um, I I'm like I get it set in my mind like I want this piece from this person, you know, and then I travel or make it happen. But yeah, it's interesting because I feel like a part of getting tattooed that some people maybe wouldn't expect is like the collaboration between you and the person who's tattooing you, because you know there's some artists that are just like only tattoo flash designs, like stuff they've already drawn, and they're very particular about their image and they don't let you change anything. And then there's other artists that are like, oh yeah, let's collaborate and I can change this to look like this. And like, I obviously enjoy more of that experience because it is going on your body forever. And I think you should get to have a say in stuff like that. But I've learned from like working, like getting art from different artists that uh, that can really change your experience of like how they approach the way that they tattoo.
So, me not having tattoos, I don't really relate to much of this, but I guess that also helps me with the next question, which is, you know, like, what do the tattoos that you've gotten onto you, what do you want them to say about you? Like,
Mm.
is there like, is that part of it as well, or is it just like, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
if
totally.
it's just something that you love, you just want it on you too?
I think it's a mix. I think in the moment when I make the decision to get something, it is mostly like for myself, and I don't really think about what people will think outside of that. And that's gotten me in trouble because I actually got a tattoo that I was not happy with, and it literally affected my day to day of like I wanted to cover it with like shorts. It was like on my upper leg and I like didn't want people to see it. Um and so like I have since gotten it covered up, which is great because after that, it was like very freeing to like not have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, uh, yeah.
Do you mind me asking what the tattoo was?
It was text. It
Oh.
wasn't anything like awful. It was just something I didn't want tattooed on my body forever. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think I get
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, what did you end up covering it with?
A mouse with some leaves. And that was
Nice.
just like a flash piece from an artist that I saw and I liked, which is a great way to get tattooed if you're scared of coming up with something or you don't know what you want to get. Find an artist you really like and just like see what flash designs they have. So those are like pre-drawn designs that you can just be like, yes, I want that. I know what it'll look like in your style, and then you get it.
Oh, okay. I was actually about to ask about that. I was like, are all tattoos like unique, or is it like there's
It depends on the
templates?
artist. Some artists do like only pre-drawn designs. Some artists do only custom pieces, or most artists do a mixture of both. So, um, most of my pieces are custom technically, but usually, like, my biggest piece is like Artemis, and the artist I found to do it, like, I saw his style. He already did like a lot of like gods and goddesses, and I was like, okay, I want a custom piece, but I'm gonna choose something that he tattoos a lot, so I kind of already have an idea of what it'll look like. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my favorite way of like filling air. It's just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, but so when I was going to Germany, I did consider getting something, but the fact that I didn't know what to get, I guess was like my decision to not
Yeah.
get something because I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to just do it on an impulse. If I ever get a tattoo, I need to know what I'm getting
Yeah.
before like I even think about getting one, if that makes sense.
Totally. And that's why I would say like seek out artists that do flash designs because if you're getting a custom piece, but like more than likely you're not going to see the tattoo until the day of you get
Hmm.
tattooed because like obviously artists like the way they work they get like scheduled out and then they only have so much time to draw a design before your appointment. So
Yeah.
yep, yep.
What was the first tattoo you got?
It was a tattoo of my dog Ellie.
Nice.
Yep.
Did you also get one for Marcy?
Yeah, so on my wrist I have Ellie, and then on the other side I have Marcy.
It's like on the same arm?
No, it's in the same spot, but on like the same, yeah, in the same spot on both
On
my
different
arms.
arms. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say like I thought it was like, you had like on like one side of your wrist you had like Marcy and then you like flip it over and it's like but yeah, that's really neat, man. I've dabbled with the idea of getting tattoos for a long, long time, but
Yeah.
I think the thing that's like keeping me away from it is being afraid of like getting something that like if I let's say like for example I get a tattoo and then I'm just like I regret it, right? I what
Yeah.
is it? What if I get a tattoo that says no regrets but they misspell it, right? But I don't want to cover it up. Like, I just don't want a tattoo and I can't afford to have it like removed. And I'm kind of just stuck
Yep.
with no regrets.
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think I'm all out of questions, I'm all out of content, and I'm all out of brain juice.
Yeah, no worries.
So I think that's a really good place to call it a day. Um,
Sounds good.
so before we go, Tomboy, is there anything that you wanted to promote?
Good question. Like I said, I've kind of dropped out of streaming in I mean, I do want to come back to it. So if you want to follow me, I'll put a little message in chat. That's me. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch. I'm always available on Discord too if you want to hang out and play some games. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, Tomboy, I know I've been a little like of a rough host today.
Nah.
But I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm really happy that we were able to do this, and maybe one day we can do a second interview, and maybe I won't be near sleep deprived for that one. But yeah,
It's all good.
seriously,
thanks, Coconut.
I really appreciate you being here, and I'm really happy we did this.
Me too. I appreciate you having me, and should hang out again soon.
Yeah. Also, I farted, and it was stinky.
Gross.
All right.
Nasty.
I'm sending you on up. Bye.
All right. Bye. See you later.
All right. That's going to be the end of the show for today. I'm probably going to edit this one to cut out a bunch of the awkwardness, but everybody please give a big round of applause for Tomboy. Give them a big old follow. If you don't, I'm going to come to your house and cry outside your window all night. But yeah. Let me see if there's anything that we can raid into. If not, I'm probably just gonna. You know what? It's probably just a good idea to just end the stream. But I appreciate everybody who showed up. Tomboy, thank you for being an excellent guest. Just kind of rolling with me through the big sag. Coconut and Tien, I really appreciate y'all coming in. Big supporters of this. If I was PBS Kids, this show would be brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. And of course, thanks Tien again for the sub. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I still need to figure out who the next guest is gonna be, and I should probably get on that ASAP. But yeah, I'll put it up on the Discord whenever it's time. If you have any suggestions for another guest, just send them the link that's in my Discord. You can either invite them into the Discord. Hey, Coconut, thank you so much for the biddies. Tomboy, thank you so much for the biddies too. I love you. But yeah, no, seriously, like if there's another person that you would like to see on the show, preferably somebody that I might know. That way, you know, it's not kind of just like, you know, like job interview level questions. Yeah, just send them the link to my Discord. There's a section there that's called Frens of Hosway signups, and they can sign up. Pretty soon we're gonna be reaching the end of the first season. It's gonna be a total of 7 interviews. It was originally 6, but I'm adding one more onto there. So these next suggestions will be towards next year's Frens of Hosway. Do you know Drake, right? No, I refuse to know Drake in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to know Drake. I refuse to know Drake. He's gonna try to groom me. But yeah, no, anyway. Yeah, just send them the link to the Discord or the link that's in the Discord for the signups, and yeah. We'll be. Don't send him my Don't send him. Well, it's fine. There's no underage people in my Discord. You can send Drake the link. I shouldn't be roasting him, but sure, why not? But anyway, yeah. That's gonna be it. I really appreciate y'all coming by, and have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go pee and sleep. Bye.